Hello, so in this video I'll be explaining why you shouldn't invest into Amazon AVS. For those of you who are new here, my name is Benjamin Bolshinsky. I used to work at Amazon in the AVS team for almost 3 years, and now I run a company called Vendor Launch where we provide consultation services to help you make the most out of the AVS program. So without further ado, the first question is, well, what is AVS? If you're unfamiliar, AVS stands for Amazon Vendor Services. It was previously called SVS, stands for Strategic Vendor Services. But basically, it's a program that Amazon Retail, so Amazon Vendor, offer to vendors to help grow their business. It's a paid program, not free. Typically, it starts minimum $70,000 per year. And basically, they assign you a specialist at Amazon, can be local, can be offshored, to help you grow your Amazon vendor business. So think of it kind of like having a mini employee within the company. So what do they actually do? How do they grow your business? So the main functions of an AVS are centered around operational improvements. So think of things like reducing your lead time, looking at your confirmation rates, looking at your out of stock rates, trying to understand why it takes you, 20 days to deliver a purchase order to Amazon's warehouse, and how can we reduce that to say 3 days, right? So a lot of operational kind of consulting, operational improvements. Also analytics that provide you with like yearly growth rates, purchase orders, how top line, PCOGs, sales, out of stocks. So a lot of different metrics, and they provide you an insights on a weekly or fortnightly basis as to how those metrics are trending. They can also help with promotions and advertising, setting up promotions, deals, potentially like merchandising, banners. They won't create any images, they won't create any videos or content, but they can point out products which are missing them. So that's what they do. But perhaps more important than what they do is what they don't do. And an AVS will not help with advertising. They do not know anything about advertising. They don't know how Amazon ads works. They don't know when to use it, how to use it, when to invest in it, like how to set up campaigns. Amazon advertising, at the bottom line, is a completely separate business unit from Vendor Central, from Amazon Retail. Separate team, separate skill set, completely unrelated. The only thing they will tell you is you should increase your ads. That's the extent of the AVS's knowledge with regards to advertising. So why that's important is because if you're a vendor on Amazon and you're doing, I would say, under 3 million per year in purchase orders, your number one priority should be growing top line revenue. So taking that 3 million and converting it into 6 million. That should be your number one priority. And how do you do that? The most efficient way is just to advertise, is to run advertisements within Amazon ads, which an AVS will not help you with. So if you're doing under 3 million per year, and again, this depends on each vendor specifically. I've included a ballpark figure of 3 million. Obviously, it differs on a case-by-case basis. Some it might be 2, 4 million. If you want to know exactly for your account, in your current situation, whether it makes sense to invest in AVS or at what point you should, then that's where you should book a call with me and I'll provide some tailored advice. But basically, if we take an example, say 70K, which is again the minimum it costs for AVS, and if you're doing under 3 million per year, you should take that 70K and you should instead invest it into advertising, because that will grow your account significantly quicker. It'll be more effective. Investing into AVS only makes sense when your account has reached the point of diminishing returns with regards to Amazon ads. So what that means is if you've been advertising for the past year and you're spending quite a bit, there will come a point where investing more into ads will not generate a proportional increase in sales as previously. that's kind of where you hit the point of diminishing returns. And again, this differs for every vendor, it differs for each marketplace. But if you want to know where that point is, that's where you should book a call with me or my team. So here's an example of two vendors. On the left, we've got vendor 1. They're doing 3 million per year. On the right, we've got vendor 2. They're doing 10 million per year. Both of them are confronted with the possibility of investing 70K into AVS, right? So let's see what happens in each of these scenarios. Vendor 1, now let me take a step back. Let's just say investing into AVS, as I mentioned previously, will result in operational improvements. So they will look at your out of stocks, how to reduce out of stocks, how to reduce your lead times. They will provide some business consulting, training, those kind of things. And so let's just say, for argument's sake, that doing so results in a 1% increase in sales. So in AVS, the impact of their work results in a 1% increase in sales. Again, this depends for every vendor, it's different. Now, in scenario 1, a 1% increase from 3 million baseline is 30K. In scenario 2, a 1% increase from 10 million is 100K. Now, what you can compare is vendor 1 has invested 70K, but they've only got 30K back increase in sales. So they've lost 40K. So the ROI is negative. Whereas vendor 2, they've invested the same 70K into AVS. Because the baseline is so much higher, they've actually made 100K from this operational focus. And so they have a positive ROI. They've made 30K compared to the 70K investment. So what can we see here? Vendor 1 should invest the 70K into advertising, without a doubt. Whereas vendor 2 should invest into AVS, assuming they are already advertising. If vendor 2 has reached 10 million per year without any ads, I would probably suggest that they would instead also invest into advertising. They'll see a quicker, more effective ROI. So all this to say, whether you should invest into AVS depends on kind of where you're sitting in terms of your Amazon vendor journey. To ballpark the figure, I would say anything under 3 million, without a doubt, you should be focused on your advertising. You will receive a significantly higher ROI. If you're a vendor that's doing well above 3 million, if you're doing 10 million or so, then for sure at some point, if you've already advertised, it may make sense to invest into that AVS and to get some the benefits from kind of that operational outlook, from reducing your out of stocks, looking at running more tailored, more specific promotions. But again, the priority for most vendors, if they haven't already, is to double down on advertising. So hopefully that helps. Again, if you want to understand whether AVS makes sense in your particular case, some tailored consulting, if you will, then by all means book a call using the link in the description. Otherwise, hope you have a great day and talk soon. Bye.